Following a series of drone attack incidents in Imphal West district, suspected Kuki miscreants have set ablaze an abandoned house of a former Manipur police officer in Jiribam district. The police officials revealed that the abandoned house belonged to Sinam Bipin, the former officer in charge of the Borobekra police station in Jiribam district. The reportedly incident occurred at 3:30 a.m. in Jakuradhol Bazaar, and in response to the deteriorating law and order situation in Manipur, the police department has acquired several 7.6 mm MK SA1 machine guns, which have now arrived in Manipur. Although the officer and his family had vacated the house after violence erupted in June, the question that comes about is, why did the insurgents target an abandoned house? Are the attacks against civilians over the last 5 days a coordinated attempt to sabotage peace efforts in Manipur? Is exactly what we're going to discuss with our guests. Joining us on the show is Major General G.G. Dwivedi, Global Strategic and Defence Expert. Also with us on the program is Dr. Seram Rajesh, Delhi Meithei Coordination Committee Convener. Pao Jhukup Goite, President of the Kuki Student Organization, also joins us on the show. And Nirmal Kaur, former IPS, served as the DGP in Jharkhand, joins us on the show as well. General Dwivedi, I'll begin with you, sir. Well, so tensions galore once again in Manipur. It's been over a year that the violence started there, but now it seems to have taken a more coordinated, more calibrated turn for the worst. The government is doing its best when it comes to efforts, but the fact of the matter is that whatever is happening over here, General Dwivedi, it is not possible without the patronage as well as the support from some external elements. What does your gumption, sir, and what does your experience tell you what's going on here?
Well, Vineet, first and foremost, you are absolutely right. Over the last about 16 months, because Manipur was on the boil since last May, and this situation has only become more complex and security concern more compounded. Well, having commanded my division in Manipur, 57th Division, which is once again active here, I'd like to give you a couple of perspectives. First and foremost, the whole situation actually started as a political issue between the, Meiteis and Zomi Kukis because of this ruling of the state by the state on the reservation issue, and thereafter the issue became more complex. Now, what has happened is that the government has able to manage the issue but not resolve the issue, because resolution of the issue is actually a political initiative, and that has not come about. Over a period of time, the locals have lost confidence in the current dispensation, and therefore this situation has turned out more violent. Second point is, the two communities are today armed. It is no more between the militant and the security forces. When I was the GOC, we are handling the situation more with the militant and the security forces. Today, the situation is between the two communities. And ironically, both the communities are armed today. The villages are armed. And they are separated by buffer zone, where the security forces are manning the buffer zone. But the point is, erstwhile militants are now become the custodian of security of their respective groups. The third point is that how the situation has panned out on the external dimension. Today, Bangladesh, as we know, is largely today radicals are calling the shots, and inimical forces against India are actually on the fore. Myanmar is again on the boil, and there's a fight between the Janata and the militant groups there, the three groups, alliances working there, and of course China is really on the left. Now the point issue today on the ground is that drones have added new dimension, and since 1st September there have been 4 drones attack, and Jiribam, what you mentioned, is actually one lane. It is very close to Silchar. It is away from the main Manipur, where the one of the security forces, police persons, abandoned house was attacked. But with the drones coming in, the issue has become more complex. Firstly, the drones are easily available today. They are available across the shelf, and there are enough gun running going on in the northeast, and therefore more proliferation of the guns and the armament is going to take place. Secondly, the situation has escalated because once you are using drones, the other side will also start using it. That means that you are going to cause more damage with a lot of indirect weapons because the drones have a range of 15 kilometers and they can go and strike. The third issue is the state government. Yesterday only the DGP said that current situation is not within the capability of the state police. And I have known the Manipur police as it is there's a big question mark on this. So all I can say is that situation today is very serious. Is the time that center steps in because the state government is not able to manage it. The security forces also have to come in because two challenges are there. One is to disarm the villagers and the elements of both the groups. And the second is to ensure that trust is built up between the two communities because today there is a very wide divide and both the communities are on the neck. And the last point is we have to be very concerned about the borders. Today borders are very vulnerable. We have a border with Bangladesh, we have border with Myanmar, border with Bangladesh over 4,000 kilometers, with Myanmar about 1,650 kilometers. The borders are porous and therefore that is another big challenge. All I can say is today, the situation in Manipur requires immediate attention. It cannot go on as business as usual. The center has to step in, the security forces have to come in, and the situation has to be brought, if not normal, at least with semblance of normalcy. Vineet.
Absolutely. And Dr. Rajesh, are you there with us? Dr.
Yeah.
Rajesh?
Yes, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible, sir. So what do you make of this, latest unfolding of events in Manipur? Has it gone beyond a community problem now and has taken a shape which could be more worrying for not only the state government but the center as well?
In fact, this has not been a community affairs from the very beginning. But after 1.5 months later, now people are realizing that this is beyond the community, because there are many instances happened in the last 15 months, but people are not realizing that the kind of arm and ammunition they have in the Kuki militant groups, people are not accessing. Yes, some people are saying that the Baitais have the arms from the from the state armory because of to defend from the attack. But who is arms, ammunition, AK-47 rifle, M16s, and all the American guns and Chinese guns are actually providing to the Kuki militant? There is no answer. Number two, when the people actually, these Kuki armed groups started bombing through ESL, it is not a bombing against only the Baitai community. It's a first time that one particular Kuki arms group are using drone and bombing to the Indian territory. And people know that this technique has been used by the Kuki militant groups in other border, in Burma, like in many of these, area against the British, against the Burmese military group. So there's people are knowing that. But one fact is that the Burmese military are attacked by many of the rebel groups. Yes, Chinese are also involved. And there are many people are also saying that what will be the role of the Indian military intelligence in this conflict. I will not highlight on that particular area, but the important thing is that is Manipur a liberated zone for the Kuki militant group? No. Many of the army forces are there, 56,000. 60,000 military forces are already there. That Kautruk area behind there, Assam Rifles camps were there. And not very far, the 57 mountain divisions are there. That means the Meiteis are now living without any security. And now when you have started bombing from the air, I have spoken to some of the family members that area. Now people, when they sleep, then they always thought that something will fall down from the ground. So there is a terror. So there is a terror in the community. People thought that when some, apart from there are security guards or there are village defense force are there. So people are little secure. But now, when you're using aerial bombing through drone, then anytime, something can fall down. That kind of terror is actually spreading. So it is a terrorism. It is beyond, not with the community in a class or something. So the main question is that, is Manipur really concerned by the state? Because Manipur is part of India. And Indian state and military, it's not that they are not incapable of dealing with some of the few Kuki militant group, but they are completely denying or they are not taking action, and that means that who will protect the civilian in Manipur? Again, in Manipur, as you know, that out of the 22,000 square kilometer, the Central Valley is a small part of the area, and all these Central Valleys are surrounded by the Kuki militants' bunkers. In every area, if you see north, south, east, west, in every foothills, all the Kuki bunkers are there, and these Kuki bunkers are not dismantled by the Central Security Forces. That means there is something hidden agenda that is actually allowing the Kuki militant to do anything, whatever they want, by the state government and by the central government. That means that is why the Kuki militant are becoming more stronger and stronger and stronger. They can do anything. They can use drone, they can use sniper, they can actually fire just to why?
But that's the big question. That's the big question. Where are they getting this equipment from? Nirmal Kaur, where do you think they are getting these drones, these semi-automatic weapons? What's going on over here? Who's funding this latent desire to turn Manipur into a place which is replete with terrorism and fear?
And number second point, just let
that's for Nirmal Kaur. That's for Nirmal Kaur. Hold on. Please, Nirmal Kaur, that's for you.
I think it's a very, very manifest and explicit desire now, and a very aggressively implemented desire. All this is drug money. Basically, Manipur problem, more than militancy, the militancy is based on drugs. 90% of the hill area is with Kukis, which comprise about 10% of the population, and 10% of the plains area in Imphal and around is with the Metis that comprise about 90% of the population. That is one thing. And they've really reinforced bunkers, cemented bunkers, right at the borders where the hills start. And they have systematically cut off Metis from the hills. Like there was a shrine on the hill, I'm getting the name of a date. They blew up, the Kukis blew up the bridge that led to the shrine on the hills. So they have systematically, they want all the hill area. They have the tribal status. In government, there are so many officers, there are so many IS/IPS officers from Kuki community. The Metis that way are represented much less because Metis have to compete as general people. And the problem is not, and also Kukis are basically outsiders. Kukis are, even all the anthropologists and sociologists have written, right, in every northeastern war, see, right from 150, 200 years ago, that Kukis are a very, very aggressive and a very strife-ridden community. Wherever they go, they create strife. They cannot live with others. They don't know the meaning of coexistence. In fact, even in Nagaland, they were brought to contain the local, the local people by the British. So Kukis also have, like, you have Chin Kukis, you have very, very kinds of Kukis. And now the thing is, from across the Myanmar border, which is so porous, they are bringing in people, like the Bangladeshis influx into the India. Now Kuki influx into Manipur is at a very large scale because they want to change the demography. The very few Kukis are there, about 10%, and slowly by marriage, by whatever, they are changing the demography, and they already have the money. All this money is funded by the drug money. You see there the drug plantations. Go to the hills in Manipur. You see kitna, the posta, the opium pods, and there's so much of this drug is being grown there, and it is on the drug route, on the main drug route, Manipur. From Myanmar, the drugs are the free border. So money is basically, the problem is drug. They want control of the area to be able to smuggle drugs, and the drug lords and the local dons, they have money. Where drugs are concerned, with so much of drug traffic being there, money is not an issue. So getting arms is also not an issue. The problem is Metis is a relatively, they are a very, very peace-loving community. That is what got to them. They are peace-loving, they are simple people, and they were not given the tribal status which was given to the Kukis. And Kukis have mostly converted to Christianity, And now the problem is also, like, with the Metis, they have a semi corner in their house everywhere. It's like a deity, puja ka kamra in their house. That they are destroying systematically. They are attacking the Metis culture, the Metis beliefs, the Metis. They want to somehow do away with the Metis way of life and convert everyone to their way of thinking. That is what it is. And money, of course, Metis may be short of money. Metis have small area. They are not so much into, I think not even 0% of them are into drug rackets. But cookies are controlling the entire drug traffic in that area. They are also growing opium. They are growing the poppy plants, and they are smuggling opium. They are also bringing in other drugs, all the other synthetic drugs also, and passing them on. That is the money. Problem is also that because of the large number of cookies in the services, IS, IPS in the subordinate services, because of the reservation benefit they got for many, many decades, they are there's a lot of this, you can say, inbreeding kind of a thing, supporting from within the system. So that is their advantage also. I think that though the European Parliament, they took the matter to European Parliament in no day. Even that initially the video that came out of women, which was released on the eve of the Parliament session, so systematically, they have really brought it up like a campaign. If they were a persecuted community, the way Metis are, I don't think cookies would have been. Cookies are very sharp, thinking on their feet kind of people, and they have planned it, and they have support of the international community, also through the Christian network, because that is how this. Bringing the matter to European Parliament in no days, when they were the aggressors. Initially, you see that March tribal, the first problem that came, Surat Chandrapur and all those border districts, when Metis women were raped, Metis had to go into camps, their houses were destroyed. None of the international press, leave alone international, even the national press did not cover it properly. It is as if, both sides were equally guilty, if at all. It is not that at all. Cookies were and are very much the aggressors. The money for arms, the money for these state-of-the-art drones, it is all there being supplied. The international community, the drug mafia is with them, and they are, of course, they are themselves the drug mafia. If you visit the bunkers right at the outskirts of Imphal, you see how reinforced, take them like the American bunkers in Afghanistan.
Right, ma'am. Let me also bring in Pao Jacob into this conversation, who is the president of the Kuki student organization. Pao Jacob, appreciate you being here with us. Well, this is not a community matter. This is obviously something which is more sinister, far more nefarious than what it is attributed to be. What is your take on the crux and core of this issue, which has elongated for so long, and solutions, though have come from the center and the state from time to time, have failed to change the situation in any way? In fact, the situation keeps getting on worse.
Yes. Before I come to the point, first of all, I will answer to Madam Nirmal Kaur. Hello, Madam. I don't know what your conscience is, what data you borrow from, I don't know, but I'm so happy to reply you about drugs in Manipur. See, in Manipur, there are mainly three types of drugs: chemical drugs, cannabis, opioids. Of these three, 30% only opioid drugs constitute only 30%. In 2017 to 2023, 2,153 arrests were made. 2,153 people were arrested under NPDS Act. Out of this, 53%, mark my word, 53% constitute Metis drug lords. So how can you say the cookies are drug peddlers? Show me your data. See, it's from 2017 to 2023 that the data I have with me in my possession. Out of over 2,053 drug lords, Metis were arrested. How can you label this drug lords to Kuki people? And number two, you said cookies are aggressive. Yes, indeed, we are aggressive. We are aggressive to protect our land. So much so that we fought against the British, the mighty British, continuously for 3 years. I don't know any community in the history of India fighting against the British for 3 years continuously. It's the Kuki people who fought against the Kukis continuously for 3 years. That's how aggressive we are. Aggressive for the protection of our land. So we will be aggressive. We will continue to be aggressive to protect our land against Meiteis, against Arambai Tangals. We won't give up an inch to them. So you should think twice in your mind. So coming back to your question, sir, it's very unfortunate that the violence broke out in Manipur. Before this violence broke out, the Kukis never ever sought for this sort of separation from Manipur. Rather, we were part of the Maharajas of Manipur long time ago. We fought together against the British.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.